Yo, this is Top Flight with the City Talks, and today we got a super producer in the building.
Super producer.
Thomas Swanson, everybody.
What's going on, man?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for coming to the show, man. We really appreciate it. It's good to have you here.
I appreciate you having me.
We're going to get right into it, bro. How have you been, man? What you been up to?
Just working, man. Yeah. A lot of songs coming out, a lot of songs that are bound to come out. Yeah. Keeping it going in the right direction. That's good. Staying motivated.
All right, let's get to your background. Where are you from? Where was you born and raised?
I was born and kind of raised in Tampa, Florida.
Tampa.
Then I moved to Kentucky with my family, and I guess finished getting raised in Kentucky.
How was Kentucky compared to this?
People are really polite up there. You got Southern hospitality big time in Kentucky.
So it's still kind of southerny up there?
Generally, yeah. You learn your manners there.
Yeah,
but
yeah. Every time we go out of town, dude, we deal with that Southern hospitality missing, like people not holding doors for you or saying thank you when you do hold a door.
Yeah.
I know Kentucky's kind of still Southern though.
People have the accent too.
Yeah.
I never developed it though.
Yeah. Was there a difference in trying to adjust to the weather up there versus down here?
You just see snow.
Yeah.
And I was like, you enjoy the snow because I was originally from Florida, so I was like, wow.
Yeah.
It's a lot of snow on the ground in the wintertime.
Did you get into music up there or down here?
Exactly. I started producing in Kentucky.
Okay.
I say the word producing really lightly though. Like it was very bad sounding. And I was making beats on my keyboard, like not with professional DAWs or software, like
just free stuff.
I do now. I was literally making beats on Yamaha keyboards for years.
That's crazy. Yeah. So growing up, was there like somebody in your life that did music, or like a family member or something?
I was the only one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You was the black sheep of the music.
Yeah, nobody. Literally, I mean, my grandmother had played piano for me time to time. That was about it. And
I know a lot of people start with like church or
something
that didn't even really resonate that it kicked off their musical.
For me, it was like I wasn't into it at all until I had a toy piano that my grandmother bought me.
Right.
I was just started playing on that. It was my favorite toy. I was 10 years old.
Okay. Yeah. What were some of your influences growing up when you started getting into music, getting to the age?
So what made me even produce was I fell in love with music at the age of 15, to be honest with you.
Right.
There were like songs by Chris Brown and T.I. that came out back then, that like Forever by Chris Brown, Whatever You Like by T.I. Those were those were like the songs that I was like, damn, I like music. Everybody feel like, I don't know, I had a realization I just really enjoy music.
It was a bunch of feel good music back then.
And that was 2008, right? Is when that happened. And so I had a keyboard, and it was a pretty nice, like Yamaha electric keyboard, and it lets you layer tracks together. Right. So you could, make a beat on just the keyboard. Right. So I would remake the beats to those songs just because I really, I enjoyed them so much and I wanted to. And that was when I got into music.
Which probably taught you how to go about conducting another song because you learned how to put somebody else's professional song together.
To be honest, it's way harder to make a beat like straight up on a keyboard like that because I didn't have loops. I was literally playing the same pattern for like 3 minutes straight. Yeah.
Trying to get your
with a metronome, and so.
How was the support when you started doing that from your family or like your friends once you started?
My dad told me to like always lower the volume, and my mom supported it. My mom bought me the piano, the nice piano I had.
Right.
She saw me killing the tiny toy piano. She was like, I'm gonna buy him a real one.
Yeah.
So that was where I that's where I kind of learned right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they supported it.
Where was your first studio setup as far as like once you got a mic and got it?
It wasn't set up anywhere. I had a mic, and I had a laptop, and I had software and a very basic set of skills, and I would go to other people's homes and just set up mobily and record in there.
Whoever wanted you to come through. Was you when you first started? Was you charging people, or you just?
No, not when I first started. I couldn't. I was just trying to get people to get on my mic.
I
had a mic and no rappers that wanted to get on it. So I was like, but I don't even know why I had the mic.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
I was just gonna say, did you ain't never get into actually trying to do your own music? Or trying to...
No, I had a mic for some reason, and I was just making terrible beats, and I was like, man, I need some rappers to get on these terrible beats. Like, somebody's got to make this sound better. So that's what I was trying to do. I was reaching out. This was like when I was 17, okay? I'm 26 now.
Right.
So that's like, 9 years ago?
Yeah.
So this is like 9 years ago. I was hitting up artists on Reverb Nation .com.
Damn.
That's a pretty irrelevant website now.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
But they were kind of a thing like back then. Like
Yeah.
you know, I didn't even have
Yeah.
I didn't have Facebook. I didn't have Instagram. I didn't have social media.
Yeah.
I didn't have friends.
Yeah.
So I reached out to rappers on Reverb Nation that were in my city.
Yeah.
Some responded, and I would go to their house and record them.
Damn.
That was the true like start.
And that was in Kentucky?
Now that was right when I moved to Gainesville.
Oh, okay.
I was new to the city. That's how I had no friends.
So was you still in school when you moved to Gainesville? Yeah.
I went to Santa Fe College.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And did you meet anybody through that? Just like classes and stuff?
Yeah, met some
Yeah.
rappers, recorded them.
Yeah.
I was trying to meet rappers. That was my mission. I was
Yeah.
like, I need to meet rappers because I was just trying to get them on the
So
beats.
by the time you got to Gainesville, was you okay with your skills?
No.
No, it's still
Nah,
terrible.
that was bad. It wasn't good. No.
Yeah.
It wasn't good.
So once you got good enough and was able to start charging people and selling beats, how long was it before from that period until you started seeing money come in?
So that's a good question because it was such a slow process.
Yeah.
That I feel like a lot of people need to realize. Like
Yeah.
it was. I think maybe even you were like surprised. Like, wow, I'm telling you right now. Like
Yeah.
it's a very slow process.
Yeah.
It was years of being bad and not selling anything. And
Right.
just I honestly thinking back, I don't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
Why I was doing it. But I loved music. I loved it.
Yeah.
I was like completely sold that was going to be my career.
Right.
Completely. So I had probably had since I started like 4 or 5 years went by before I even made $1 off music.
What?
Yeah. 4 or 5 years?
Something like
Damn.
that.
Putting in that work?
And was it beats or more recording people?
Both.
Yeah.
I was doing it all for
Kind of
free.
hand to hand.
Yeah, I was trying to make something happen.
Yeah. So was you able to see enough money? When was you able to stop working? I guess.
I worked at McDonald's when I was
Yeah.
19, and one day I just didn't go back
Yeah.
because I had like $400 in my bank.
Yeah.
And I was like, but see, here's the thing: is like I was making about as much recording people. You know what I mean?
no.
Like we're like not recording people. Like it was a different thing back then. I was affiliated with a group called Pristine Strings. And it was a violin and cello player,
Okay.
and I was making beats for them. And that was where like I really like got challenged to step up my musicality because
Yeah,
they were really
I bet.
good, and they were just like it was a guy named Ben and Quinn, and they were like very very young, and
Yeah.
I was 19,
Yeah.
and we sold CDs like of the like I would produce their CDs like with like corny beats and
Yeah.
like subpar production, and we
Right.
would like travel and sell these CDs, you know what I mean? And I would occasionally join them and play piano with them and stuff.
Okay.
And I had saved up some money from that, and that was like kind of like I just didn't stop at that point. I was literally like very very low amounts of money here and there for years, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So was the studio that we visited the one time years back, was
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that was was that your first setup or your second setup as far as like really
It was my second apartment. That was by the time I was recording my apartment.
Oh, yeah,
So
right.
That was like a little bit years after that. You see what I'm saying though? It's like
Yeah.
I was going to people's
Yeah.
houses until I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? By the time I don't know how old I was then. I was like 23, 22, something like that. 23 maybe.
Yeah.
And I had set up a mic. I just had a mic in an apartment by then.
Yeah.
So the slow grind I'm talking about was going from people's houses to letting people come to my apartment
Right.
and have a little studio in there, and then eventually like an actual studio.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
So then from there you just outgrew the space and decided you needed more or
that
what
was
happened?
that was a special time in my life because like that was when I realized that was when I started making more than like minimum wage to producing music, you know what I
Right.
mean? And that's when I decided to make an LLC and start a business, and with that I rented a studio space downtown.
Okay, but well, before we go any further, tell people that are wanting to start something and how important that LLC is.
Man, the LLC is, I mean, how are you gonna do your taxes, you know?
Yeah.
Like, how are you gonna do a lot of things?
Right.
You need to have a business and to pay taxes. It's like your credit with the government, you know?
Right.
I mean, to have a business and be legitimized, you know, people even will Google search me and
Yeah.
see that stuff is, it's just a good look, you know?
Yeah.
You wanna take yourself seriously.
Right. So then from there you moved to your downtown studio in
Mm-hmm.
Gainesville, and in the mix of all that, it was right before I believe you met Patty, right?
Mm-hmm.
How did that happen?
I met Patty about 4 months before the downtown studio, and that was like when things started to change for me for a much bigger direction. I met him just because he was in Gainesville and needed to make music, when that was the case for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And he was making music all kinds of places. He had different songs out that were released, but he came to my apartment August 2017, and we made TK's song "The Race." He did a remix of that.
Yep, I remember.
That was the first ever song I recorded for him, and it went over pretty well. It was his first World Star drop.
I'm about to say, up until then, he was just doing the Instagram videos, right? Like the
trying to rap. Yeah. But that was the first song where it was like, okay, we're gonna.
So he was rapping even really before that, like as far as
he was rapping since
he was just big through the other stuff.
Yeah, he always loved to rap though. He always loved to make music.
I always said, how do people just out of the blue just turn on their rapping? You know, but that makes sense, I guess. I mean, he's not, because when we first listened to the song, we was like, this sound like it's okay, you know, like he been rapping for a while.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I think a lot of people love making music, man.
Yeah.
You know, they get a little fame through something else, and eventually, you know, they can just put out the music.
Dude, I think I seen Spotify last year had like 60-something million artist sign-ups.
Probably something like that.
Like, that's crazy. The time that I remember back when we was rapping, and like, because we started with a you know, one of our sister's boyfriends, and he had a studio, and man, that shit wasn't cool. People was like, y'all are lame, bro.
Yeah,
like,
really?
y'all, you know, of course, me and Dylan got the wanna be, you know, wiggers and all that stuff. So like, and nowadays it's like the country boys has got 26-inch rims on their truck and listening to Young Boy, and they got Glocks with 30s on them. It's crazy, dude. And they despised us for that. Like, all the snooty girls used to turn their nose up to us and shit, and now that's what they want. It's crazy how different the world is with IG and stuff.
Yeah.
But what kind of success came from the Patty?
Well, it was a relationship that was formed. With the music industry, I think many people know it just takes one song, it just takes one connection, and a lot of things can change. That was definitely the case for me. Like the Race remix, I hit World Star. That was great. You know what I mean? People pay attention to those things, and
World Star was probably definitely, it is still big, but it was probably definitely way bigger back then.
I don't know, man. I mean, if they were big or not, I think they might have gained.
I think it was just more, you know, like they was first, you know, like World Star, they was putting all their YouTube compilations out, and just, you know, all that stuff kind of died down, though, you know, just like anything. I mean,
hey, it's all about, some videos do so well on there, some don't.
No, I still see some Texas artists and stuff that we watch, they drop every single video through there. They don't post a single one through any, their self is all through World Star, YouTube and everything.
That's a good way to, you know, a good reach there.
Some money being spent, but
probably,
because we met one of the starters of World Star, and it's pretty expensive price list.
Oh man, I could imagine. But yeah, it was more about a relationship formed, you know, because I stayed around. I had other opportunities to make just all kinds of other big songs, just, and also through different managers and just situations where you get to be a part of something special. So
speaking of managers, what kind of Mills, I mean, is he kind of the brains behind it all?
He's definitely a big part of a lot of, you know, everything. He's a great manager. He's good at what he does. He's somebody that's looked out for me very much throughout the process of my career, and as of late. So yeah, you know, he's just good at what he does. He's very passionate about it.
Well, the reason I even say him is he's the one that linked you in the long neck and wide neck up, right?
Exactly.
Okay. How did that start?
He linked me with the long neck and wide neck, Lil Esco, and you know, Patty. I met him and Patty at the same time. So But what was the question on him?
The long neck and wide neck. Mills linking y'all up. How'd that happen?
It was literally, so he was managing them. I was in my studio downtown. I just was making a beat. I had just finished making the beat. He FaceTimes me. And I had known that he was managing them at the time he FaceTimed me. I didn't know that they were going to make a song. And I didn't honestly see that coming.
You know that was the next step.
No. So he FaceTimes me and he goes, "Bro, I need an anthem sounding beat." And I said, "I just got done making one." I said, "Why?" And I had a feeling like this was for them, because they were hot at the time. I was like, this is gonna be wow. Like, so I sent him that beat, and it was done from there.
That's great.
That was the first one.
How many views did that video get?
That was legendary. Next up, on YouTube, it's a little over 10 million. Yeah.
Goodness.
That was a crazy one, yeah.
So when you get stuff like that happens, how do you, as far as like when you engineer something or make the beat for them, what's the process and the way the pecking order falls as far as you getting your credits or money or whatever you want to call it?
I mean, that's all done depending on the type of management deal at play. You know what I mean? A lot of times, like, so Mills is managing these artists and he's getting a certain % from their career, which, you know, ultimately benefits them because it's more than they would ever make in the first place. You know what I mean?
Right.
And because his skill at management. So it really depends on that type of deal and like what the deals would be aside from that.
Yeah.
When WorldStar posts a song, we don't get any of that money. That's WorldStar's money. If you're talking about like YouTube streams and stuff.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of money just in something that big to begin with. Like you're getting, I mean, for me, you're getting way more beat sales. Right. You're getting
the back end of the relationship is more.
Yeah, it's just more important, to be honest. But if you're talking about like royalties and stuff,
right,
like on the millions of streams, that's just up to, you know, how the percentage goes with like your aggregator. Like if you add to a team with DistroKid and you know you get a percentage, whatever percentage that is.
Right. Okay, so however they pretty much put it in there.
I mean, they use DistroKid.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
That's what we use. We like DistroKid.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Yeah. Shout out DistroKid.
Shout out DistroKid.
I like him.
What's your biggest tip for beat makers?
Don't work when you don't want to.
Yeah.
Because what I'm saying is, like, don't force a beat. You want to feel inspired. Maybe you heard another song in the morning and you were like, I like that song a lot. I want to make a beat kind of like that. That's a good feeling to have. That's how I feel a lot, you know? Just be like, man, I should have made that beat. I should make something like it then.
Yeah.
Not like, don't get me wrong, like, not exactly like it, but just that feeling it gave you.
Right.
My favorite artist right now is Lil TJ. As I listen to him, like JD on the track, makes a lot of his beats. I listen to his beats and like I'm like, man, like, gosh, I wish I could make them like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, they bring just good emotion.
Do you ever listen to like alternative stuff to make?
Hell yeah.
Like say
I listen
like
to weird
a country
stuff
song to make a rap song, like to ever get like do you ever try to pick like weird melodies from stuff to try to make it into
before?
Yeah.
You might hear a melody from a country song or a rock song.
Yeah.
And love that melody and it transcribes into a, you know, hip hop beat anytime.
Yeah. You think with selling beats, it's better to have? Because I know some beat makers that have a super high exclusive price, and I know some beat makers that have a low exclusive price.
Yeah.
What do you think is the best way to market yourself as a beat maker?
As far as prices go?
Yeah, just I mean, like, you know, it's kind of like the whole like selling drugs or something. You know, the higher you sell, you know, you may get you may get a certain kind of clientele that can afford it, but you're not gonna get quite as much business.
Something I've been like vocal about is that producers' business models are all I'm noticing very different from one another.
Yeah,
there's a lot of producers making money in a lot of different ways.
Yeah,
and you know, we see certain beat makers do like sales funnels, like click funnels on Facebook ads and stuff. And then we see some producers just only send out their beats to major artists.
Right.
I mean, I'm a balance, you know, I'm always open to new marketing techniques. I think the best piece of advice would be to say follow what's working. There's a lot of you know, like producergrind.com, they put out a lot of great tips for producers, right? They're going to have a lot of great discussions on their podcast series with other producers who are successful,
right,
and at what they're doing to sell. And you get a lot of different viewpoints on it. It, like I say, it shows that there's a lot of people doing a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So just follow what works and might work best for you.
Right. What's the difference to people that don't know, or rappers that are getting into the point where they're trying to buy beats and stuff? What's the difference in the packages and exclusive, non-exclusive, lease? What's the main difference in all that?
Lease is the producer can still sell it to other artists, you know. You're it's literally you're leasing the beat, you know. So you were allotted up to like whatever a certain number of streams, and you lease it again, I guess.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I always wanted that.
With exclusives, you're selling a right for them to use it exclusively and pretty much unlimited. You know, there are even lease options where it's an unlimited lease, it just might cost more.
Right.
Also, this comes back to the producer's individual contracts. They have different ones. Everybody has different ones. You know, it just, you would have to, on their beat store, they probably have a place you can read to where what, you know, like if they have a lease called Unlimited Wave, what you could read in a caption like, what does that mean for this beat? You know, and it would tell you like, oh, if you're allowed up to 500,000 streams in one music video.
So a lot of times it's on the person who's selling it.
Yeah, and with me on my beat store, if somebody buys an exclusive, that beat automatically gets taken down.
Right.
You know, it's just wiped off.
So I think it's we young beat makers that we know. They always run into that problem, man. They telling these people they're exclusive, and then they selling them to other people, and
selling the exclusive to other people.
Yeah, you know, just fucking up the relationship, and
they got to just have common ground and understand what's going on. I think it's important, like all these words and semantics. The artist just at the end of the day needs to know what they're buying. That's important. And you're right. There's a lot who don't. Yeah,
at all. What's a big mistake you can make as a beat maker, as far as like? I know the ones that we hear, the majority as upcoming beat makers, is their bass lines. I mean, what's the...
Man, you know it can be mixing.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, that's the...
Of course.
Mixing.
But do you think it's more... Do you think sometimes beats is more mixing versus what you actually are putting together? Because a lot of times, you know, the mixing brings out the feel of the beat.
Wow. That's a good question. That's a great question.
Rhythm, you know what I mean?
No, so a beat, in essence, I mean, mixing is to attenuate the beat itself. Right. You have to have a beat to start with. You can make something that makes your head nod without any mixing done to it at all. You know? Especially with the way these VSTs and sample kits sound, they
kind of already have effects.
They have great sounds, but what mixing is at the core is to not just take that approach and say, oh, those sounds are all I need. It's like, no, you need to edit it to the individual need of what your beat is. Right. You know, like how fast, how slow is it, how loud are these elements, how should they fit together? That's what mixing should be.
You think that's, and I guess that goes for vocals too, but do you think that's kind of the biggest mistake some people may make, is trying to do the same process for everything? Because it worked good on one beat.
Oh, that's no, you bring up another good point. Yeah, they do. They'll think it's an old reliable method. No, he's got to change. You got to change. It's a different song. It's a different beat. You can't do it the same way.
I know we experienced that a lot. I know I used to battle that with myself. I'd find a good chain and save that bitch, and I'd load it up to the next one. And
it works to an extent because it's you know, taking care of a lot of the, I guess, the smaller details for you first right away.
And that's basically what we got to. Just more EQ.
If it's a new song, you got to do some more, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Gotta do some more.
Definitely. So what's a big mistake, I guess, on the engineering side of things, as far as recording and mixing vocals, that you hear from even like home studios? I mean,
well, I would say the way the miking is done.
Yeah.
They're depending on these plugins a little too much without understanding the right mic, right environment, you know, just the right approach to a vocal before you start mixing it.
Right.
You know, when you have a good setup, a good mic, and just like, you know, just the right gear, I guess, you have to do very little EQing to most vocals.
Right.
To be honest.
Yeah.
You can do it very tastefully. You know, like not that big of a.
I think we definitely noticed that back in the day. We was doing a lot of deductive EQing, a lot, and a lot of it was unnecessary looking to what it is now.
Yeah, and you have artists that, I mean, you know, they can leave their gain too high, and you get, clipping. You want to have.
I've noticed that a lot from vocals nowadays. Back then, vocals are mixed a lot louder now. Like a lot of vocals sit a lot higher on the beat than maybe back in the day. Like, and I think that comes maybe. I don't know. I feel like back in the day they was dubbing and doing, you know, layers after layers and layers and layers, and nowadays it's gotten more simpler. Maybe I don't know the word. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the sound's evolved. Yeah. You know, with autotune and stuff, people are kind of dubbing less. And,
definitely.
The introduction of, you know, radio effects being used so much, stuff like that. You know, there's just ways to get a unique sound without, you know, the old techniques.
Right. What do you think for someone that maybe, you know, don't have that much money and can't maybe afford to go to a super professional studio, you know, do you think sometimes taking a fall on quality but being able to push more with the money, or what do you think nowadays? What do you think?
These are good questions.
Yeah, you think it's better to go to a real studio and only do it maybe once every 2 weeks versus being able to go twice a week at the other studio and just be a little bit different? You know, maybe not quite as good, don't have quite as much hardware,
you know, it depends on what the two studios are charging. I mean, if they're that far apart in price, then you make a good point.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that, you know, someone who's more amateur can't get a good result. Someone who's not charging as much as a professional studio can get a lot of times a better result than them if it's all on them and all about the song.
Right.
So, you know, the song has a lot to do with how good a mix turns out. They might go make
we know that. Artists don't all the time know that.
They might go make a really good song at a amateur studio, and that'll turn out better than the really kind of just not as good song that did in a professional studio.
Yeah, I get that. I think sometimes, a lot of times, being in an environment in a home studio gives you that comfort of being a little bit more relaxed. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, studios should make you feel relaxed. They should. Either whether they be professional or not. We see the professional studios trying so hard to make people feel comfortable in there. That's good.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, though, man, I think it's all in the engineers.
Me too.
The engineers. You know, that's it, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, you can make a hit. I had some songs that were mixed pretty good for my standard back when I was recording in trap houses.
Yeah.
I didn't even have speakers, just headphones. But man, I was really passionate about it, and sometimes I had some stuff turn out pretty really damn good.
Yeah. Same. I mean, some, like you say, it wasn't as consistent as now, of course, but every once in a while you get a good one, but it would depend on the artist and everything.
Good and bad, man. I still get them. You know, it's hard, man.
Yeah, that's what sometimes people come in and they think that auto-tune and everything's just gonna fix it, and not realizing, a lot of people don't realize, in order for auto-tune to work correctly and to sound good, you have to produce it. You have to produce that original note that's going through it. You know.
No, I make that point. I was making that point today at a session.
That,
I mean,
man.
It's all the auto-tune is working with what you give it.
You don't have to be able to sing, but you have to be able to hold a note for it not to be flexing and
the better you do on that mic, that better that auto-tune will sound.
Exactly.
That's a very simple rule.
So, do you think you'll ever get to a point where you do mixing tutorials? Like
I want
a YouTube channel or something?
I want to.
Or what about even like at home, somebody rent you out for a go come to your studio and run a session and something, you show them how to mix, how you go through your process. Like, how do you feel about all that?
I've done that before. I just haven't done it a lot lately. I haven't done it that much in general. But I'm down for it. I like, going over things with mixing. In fact, sometimes it helps to have someone to talk to when you're doing it.
Right. Well, I just know sometimes, like, all them YouTube tutorials, it's like real deal amateur people. You don't ever really get a true professional. I mean, they may give you the runaround, and we're going to show you how to mix Gucci Mane's vocals today. And
they give you the runaround.
Yeah, but and the amateur videos try to give you the in-depth stuff, but they just don't really have the knowledge. It's stuff that you don't figure out yourself. You know, you don't even have to finish watching the video before you know what's going on.
Yeah, sometimes they're just straight up wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like, dude, that doesn't work.
And they're getting a good sound.
Then you see the people in the comments calling them out, and that's like the one comment they don't like. It's like, I've seen it.
So, but it's a possibility maybe might start doing tutorials one day.
I would enjoy that. I pick apart some of the songs that I've enjoyed the most. And
I was just going to say that, being able to pick apart your famous ones, people would probably enjoy it. Especially because they're so used, especially somebody like Patty, they're used to seeing him squirt lemons and shit in his eyes and yell at people, and then you hear him like singing. And
I don't know, man, if Patty would even like that, how his voice would sound.
Without, I know. That's
why gotta show the world.
If we was to put
but listen, that's
out,
not even anything on Patty. That's everybody.
No, that's everybody.
That's everybody.
You can't. I mean, mixing gives you the feel.
Yeah.
Period.
It's just, it doesn't sound the same when people get used to music that they love out there on Spotify. They got to realize it did not sound like that straight from the mic, man.
At all. Especially nowadays with auto-tune, because auto-tune does give you such a different feel in your voice.
I love auto-tune.
I love
it's the greatest thing ever.
I love it. I love it to use even with just a little bit of correction to throw you in that little bit of key, because you may be a little bit off.
Inaudible.
Yeah, it's because some, a lot of people they come in, they say, I don't want the T-Pain audio now. I want the, and I'm like, dude, that's your voice producing that sound. Most auto-tunes can't even produce that sound no more.
With every song, I gotta at least try to see how it sounds like T-Pain.
Like as much like robotic sound. Yeah.
Just to see what's up with it.
Yeah. All right, so that's pretty much gonna wrap it up for this time, man. We thank you, Mr. Swanson, for coming through. Shout out to Thomas. Let's you tell the people all your Instagram, your beat page, everything like that. You want to spell it out?
Instagram is at Swan Beats with a Z on the end. That's SwanBeatz. I do have a website. It's prodthomasswanson.com, and that's where I showcase mixing. And there's a beat store there as well.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, thank you, Thomas. We appreciate you coming through, man.
Appreciate you guys.
Yes, sir.
Awesome.